Hi Karen, how you doing? So I've got your work up here. We missed you, and I missed your work in critique word this week. So I'll go ahead and give some comments here. But I think this is really, it's the essence of your logo, and I think it really makes a lot of sense in these kind of converging, these contradicting intersections, and the convergence of these contradicting intersections, and I think it's really an interesting way to go. And I applaud you for that. I think that the methodology, I think the research and the conceptual development here is very, very strong. Specifically, in the Colorado Springs, Denver, Vail, and Aspen. It's very, very clever. As far as the mark itself goes, I think that Denver 2022 is really enormous compared to the size of the mark and the whole mechanics of the composition. So I would reduce the size of this. Also, I'm wondering if you need, that's a pretty beefy typeface. And I'm wondering if it might help to just use a cap D and then lowercase for the rest of Denver. Try that. I think this is really, really taking a lot of visual attention. A lot of hierarchy. It's consuming a lot of hierarchy in the whole composition. So my recommendation would be this. Okay, so basically that's the size of your mark. I would go ahead and reduce the size of the type to something like maybe, I'm trying to draw, here, if you can imagine, maybe something like that in comparison to the mark itself. And then the rings also are something like that in relationship to the word mark. So word mark needs to be reduced, and I think that the rings will also accordingly be reduced when you reduce the size of the word mark in relationship to the actual visual mark itself. I'm wondering if it wouldn't help to introduce a second color. This monochromatic is pretty cool, but I'm just wondering if maybe something like a green in here might really, really help bring out some visual interest in the logo itself. That's up to you though, so work forward towards that. And then I think that the language that you have begun in the logo has really continued very well in the pictograms. Pictograms are super well developed. I think they're fantastic. So the rest of the program here, it looks like you're looking at some color palettes and your inspirational images, etc. With these HDR images. But the one thing I'm not seeing, Karen, is I'm not seeing placement of logos, and I'm not seeing any of our placement graphics in terms of phase 3 design development, where you start placing the work in different areas specifically, as I mentioned in, oops, sorry about that, specifically in environmental graphics, signage, banners, subway graphics, sporting event graphics, actual, like the skating rink and placement of logo on the skating rink and those side panels and the flags down the ski slope, things like that. And we really want to see some placement here. So I would be looking forward to seeing that in the second half of phase 3 design development coming up in this coming week here. So week 6. So we'll be looking for that. But at this point, I'd say you're underdeveloped here in terms of your phase 3 design development begin stage, simply because we don't have any placement at all. So I would expect there to be some deductions for that, but not to worry. I'm sure you're well on your way to completing a very unique package based on what I've seen so far. So. All right, so if you have any questions or you need any help at all, please let me know. But that's where I stand. And all right, good job. And let me know again if you have any questions. I'm right here. All right, thanks, Karen.